I will say, the reason that people are getting really mad about Elon Musk is because the immigrants that he's talking about low key are stealing your jobs, quote unquote stealing. And I only put the stealing in quotes because we don't invest in our education and we don't invest in American like mobility, American educational mobility. So like there's no one that can fulfill these jobs anyways. But if there was any group of people that were quote stealing your jobs, it's not the ones that are sneaking in on the southern border and we need to build a wall. uh the immigrants on H-1B visas are stealing my job, but that's a consequence of execs hiring them more because they're easier to pressure into overworking because they need to work to stay in the country. Correct. Yes. 100%. And also like again, and we don't really like we don't have good programs in the US that value higher education. We put people through some of the worst public schooling for a country that is literally the richest country on the planet. We have some of the worst public schooling. So kids hate learning by the time they're out of the public school system. And then the few that don't hate learning that go to college can't or want to go to college can't fucking afford it. So you just don't have people that are getting into higher education because higher education is just too expensive. Anyways, yeah, let's see this. Laura Loomer was among those to criticize oh wait. Yeah. Krishnan's appointment as Trump's AI policy advisor, calling it deeply disturbing. Krishnan is a naturalized American citizen. On X, Loomer expressed concerns that Silicon Valley's influence on Trump's administration is driven by a specific interest in H-1B visas, which many global tech companies rely on heavily to staff their workforces. High-profile voices in big tech who have recently become part of Trump's base of support are arguing on X and in podcasts that economic competitiveness is a reason for Trump to allow increased immigration for certain high-skill workers from countries like India. David Sachs, the South African American venture capitalist, came to Christian's defense in a Christmas Day post. Sturm has been a U.S. citizen for a decade. He's not running America. He's advising on AI policy. He will have no influence over U.S. immigration policy. These attacks have become crude and not in holiday spirit. I'm signing off now. Have a Merry Christmas. Meanwhile, Musk, the world's wealthiest man, has benefited from the H-1B program, both personally and professionally. He first came to the U.S. on a J-1 academic visa that he says transitioned into an H-1B visa. Tesla is also among the companies to rely on the program, having hired 724 H-1B workers in 2023. But MAGA evangelists like Loomer believe that Musk's influence within the Trump circle serves his own interest. On X, Loomer singled out Musk and his tech allies, including Box CEO Aaron Levi and PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel, suggesting that the new Doge initiative for government efficiency is just a cover for sending funds to Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. What? People in the government are benefiting financially? What? That's so messed up. Wow. I can't believe this is happening for the first time ever. Whoa. No way. Are you guys serious right now? This has never been happened ever. This has never. What? Huh? Do what? Do what? No. Guys, stop being silly. Stop it. Stop. Let me pull up. Did they actually remove Loomer's checkmark? No. No. Laura Loomer checkmark revoked. Never insult the monarch. I am constantly insulted on this platform, not by me. This is America. We don't have a monarchy. This is outrageous. Oh my God, the girlies are fighting. Yes. Yes. At Elon Musk is now admitting it's retaliation. This is Laura Loomer's Twitter. She's crashing out over losing, I think, her check mark and realizing that, like, she does not have as much money as he does. So she does not get to run the country as well or as much as he does. Elon Musk is now admitting it's retaliation. Quote, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He said yes. So calling out mass migration is a stupid game? So much for free speech. Quite totalitarian, if you ask me. And this is what it says. It's Elon Musk's tweet that says, that said, any account found to be engaged in coordinated attacks to spam target accounts with mute blocks will themselves be categorized correctly as spam. And someone else said, translation, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And then he said yes. It's all a meme. He isn't running anything. Trump will squash him. I mean, I believe that he lives at Trump's heel, but also I don't think Trump gives a fuck about running the country. I don't know how to explain this. Trump doesn't care. He's just in it for, like, the fame and the money. He doesn't even give a shit who's running the country. They literally came to him and were like, here's the Project 2025. Just let us do this and we'll, like, suck your dick, man. And he was like, really? And they were like, yeah. He's like, okay, sure. Okay, I mean, whatever you say. And it'll help me avoid prison time and I get the clout? Okay, sure. That's it. That's all he cares about. I promise you, Trump doesn't give a fuck about actually doing anything to run the country. Oh my God, dude. X just removed all of Laura Loomer's subscribers. This is censorship. Breaking. Elon Musk has removed my blue checkmark on X because I dared to question his support for H-1B visas, the replacement of American tech workers by Indian immigrants, and I questioned his relationship with China. Looks like Elon Musk is going to be silencing me for supporting original Trump immigration policies. I have always been America first and a diehard supporter of President Trump, and I believe that promises made should be promises kept. Donald Trump promised to remove the H-1B visa program, and I support his policy. Now, as one of Trump's biggest supporters, I'm having my free speech silenced by a tech billionaire for simply questioning the tech oligarchy. Elon has decided to retaliate by removing my blue checkmark and demonetizing me. Oh no, Laura Loomer lost her $5 a month, dude. How will she survive? I guess he doesn't really believe in free speech after all. Follow me on Truth Social. Dude, the girlies are having a mid-off. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Imagine the wealthiest person on the planet just sitting there pushing the remove niche internet micro celebrity followers button. I know. It's so good. Oh my God. And then look the check marks. Totally wrong. I don't think Elon would do that. What? Wow. ... The timing is interesting, isn't it? There must be some kind of mole inside X. This is not Elon Musk. How many of these are bot accounts, guys? Bot or person? Who knows? Who knows? Bot or human being? I'm no fan of hers, but I agree. This is censorship. Is this legit? Not hacked or a glitch? If this is true, it's beyond concerning. Thank you. Brave patriot, Melissa. Thank you. No to H-1B. I got the same message. I just got a notification I was unsubbed. Chat, you see? Everyone in here should be more like Potato Patriot, okay? Everyone in here, you should be getting notifications that you're unsubbed, and you should be subbing now, all right? If you want to be a real American patriot, okay? I think she's batshit crazy, but I don't believe she should be censored for nonviolent speech either. And this is not the way. This is also what you guys should be like, okay? Everyone in here should be more like Michael O'Malley, okay? You should be like, I think she's batshit crazy. God, I don't think she should be censored for saying she doesn't like Sabra hummus. All right, this is not the way. Whoa! Oh my God! What is this guy posting essays? She went after the wrong guy. Loomered herself.
Salute, yes, ma'am.
Did he write this? Where did he write this? Where did he write this essay?
D&M balls.
You bought your way into MAGA 5 minutes ago after Trump almost had his head blown off in Butler. Remember when you voted for Biden and propped up Governor Ron DeSantis and you said Trump was too old? We all know you only donated your money so you could influence the immigration policy and protect your buddy, Xi Jinping. You pretend like you have made such a sacrifice and investment donating to Trump and buying eggs, but you have only increased your own wealth and the wealth of your companies by practically invading Mar-a-Lago while trying to become Trump's side piece. Isn't that why you wanted so much hands-on control over the spending bill and direct communication with Speaker Johnson? I've been here supporting Donald Trump with the millions of patriots in MAGA since the beginning. So I actually understand the campaign promises that President Trump campaigned on. He campaigned on limiting H-1B visas and decreasing immigration. Donald Trump won because of the forgotten men and women of America, not because of the tech billionaires who cheered him on when he was deplatformed and jailed and attacked nonstop over the last 8 years. Oh my God, this is an essay to Elon Musk. He called Elon Musk his side piece. He didn't win because of tech billionaires like you who want to buy influence to jeopardize our national security by selling out to China and replacing American workers with foreigners who have disdain for white Americans. P.S. You aren't president. Trump is. And he already has a beautiful wife. I'm not sure what role you're trying to fill. No, this guy is eating. He's eating. They're eating. But we voted for Trump, not you. Maybe others are too afraid to talk to you like this. But I'm not. Did I get your attention at Elon Musk? Oh, God, dude. I want to see the replies to this. Hold up. I'm scared to free scroll on Twitter. Let me see the replies, though. Oh, my God, dude. They're so mad at Musk. She has a point, though. And isn't that pussy Musk all about free speech? Clearly, he's not. And is only fucking with her now because she struck a nerve and has validity to her claim. Elon is a snake. Trump will end up dumping Musk. He's already made jokes that Musk isn't and can't be president. This is getting bigger by the day. Thanks for this. Haven't seen this yet. Well, she is back. LOL. Love it. Oh, and fuck off. This is my favorite type of poster, by the way. The people who like will reply. And then they like, I don't know, like 5 seconds later are like, wait, I forgot something. So they just reply again. It's so good. Anyways, as you can see, guys, people are very mad about Elon Musk. First of all, removing our patriot, Laura Loomer, our brave American patriot, Laura Loomer, removing her check mark, okay? And this is all because Elon Musk said, but I want to abuse the H-1B visas. Wait, but I want to abuse the visas. But I want to abuse them. Let me see this. And then I guess like Vivek is trying to like steal some of the limelight. He's like, wait a minute, I'm Indian. Let me speak on this. How are we having an open debate when people who called out H-1B, including me, just had their verifications taken away by X? This is censorship at Vivek. Not open debate. Elon Musk has taken away my verified account and canceled all of my subscriptions. Open debate. Oh my God. What is this post? What is this one? I didn't change my profile picture. That's a lot. Oh my God, she's crashing out so bad. How many tweets has this been? She was posting all of last night. That's a lie by X to cover up the fact that they nuked the checkmark on my account and my subscriptions because I dared to criticize H-1B visas today. My profile picture has been the same for months. Me and my sweet dog I rescued from China. Dude, she's so crazy. I love her. Okay, and then she keeps going. Censorship, another post about being censored, another post about being censored. I think she's retweeting some of these. More posts about it, more posts about it. Wow, this is like a post every like 5 minutes or so. Breaking, Elon Musk has now also taken away my character limit, so I can't post longer posts. I paid for premium too. He locked my ability to have premium after taking away my blue check mark tonight. So much for free speech. And then she posted, I guess, this video of Donald Trump.
Company has served the needs of American workers. It's time we had a federal government that does the same. The Buy and Hire American order I'm about to sign will help protect workers and students like those of you in the audience today. This historic action declares that the policy of our government is to aggressively promote and use American-made goods and to ensure that American labor is hired to do the job. Right now, widespread abuse in our immigration system is allowing American workers of all backgrounds to be replaced by workers brought in from other countries to fill the same job for sometimes less pay. This will stop. American workers have long called for reforms to end these visa abuses, and today their calls are being answered for the first time.
Wow. So brave. So brave. That's amazing. Wow. Wild segment on CNN right now about the H-1B visas and how those who promote them are in opposition to the Trump agenda. Wait, there was a CNN segment on it. We have to watch it. I'm so sorry, dude. We have to watch it. I want to see what the CNN farts have to say about it. CNN, Musk, Ramaswamy. Let's go.
Tonight, as President-elect Donald Trump is preparing for a widespread immigration crackdown when he takes office 25 days from now, we're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are both facing major blowback from their own supporters for not only backing, but encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday, Musk posted this online saying, "Think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be." He later added, "I'm referring to bringing in, via legal immigration, the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning." He's talking about H-1B visas, which allow employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers. Musk, who himself is from South Africa, said that he once had this kind of visa, and he's arguing that Silicon Valley is facing a shortage of excellent engineering talent, as he put it. But the annual cap on those kinds of visas right now is at $65,000, with another $20,000 for those who get a master's or a doctorate in the U.S. Musk is being backed up by his partner in Trump's government efficiency initiative, Vivek Ramaswamy. He says it's a cultural issue that there aren't more competitive engineers in the U.S. Here's what he said online: "A culture that celebrates the prom..."
Wait, I want to read the tweet myself because I think it's actually a really good tweet. And like the problem is Americans are just not ready for this conversation. They're just not. Like, you guys are normal, I think, and don't like value nationalistic supremacy above all else.
I'm so proud of Elon finally having a partner who's proud to stand by his side gauge.
This is a good response. He made this really long tweet, which we're gonna read, but this is basically the response to have. Vivek, no, you're a Republican. You can't say people are unsuccessful because of a dysfunctional culture, lack of positive role models, and entitled victim mentality. No, Vivek, they're white people. You have to say it's structural forces and not their fault. Here, well, let's go into it. Let's get into it, okay? Before we get into it, Runner, thank you so much for the 10 months. Dylan, thank you for the 5 months. Ellie, Kyle, thank you so much for the 12 months. Gold Ruby, thank you for the 19. Melon, thank you so much for the gift sub. Yalla Yasmin, thank you so much for the 2 months. Dark, thank you so much for that 3 months. Juno, thank you for the 16. Wabbits, thank you for the 7. Capalot, thank you for the 14. And Bird Commune, thank you for the Prime. Thank you guys. Linz, thank you for the 4 months. Thank you. All right, let's get into it. I love this post, dude. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, parentheses, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Fact! I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their TVs could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. Now, he keeps going like that was about half of it. I want to talk about the first half of this. These references are crazy. You can tell I'm an immigrant child because like I don't know any of these references. Like I didn't watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off until I was like 23 or something. 24. I still haven't watched Boy Meets World. I still haven't watched Saved by the Bell, and I still haven't watched Family Matters. Okay? I am not. I didn't watch like Groundhog Day, I think is what it's called, until like 24 or 5. I don't even know. I am not up to date on like American media. Please don't. I spend my free time on the computer playing video games, okay? And watching Egyptian operas and Jeopardy with my family. That's what me and my family watched. Jeopardy came on TV, and we gathered around the TV to watch Jeopardy and be like, oh, I know this one. And then the answer is something you definitely don't know. And you're like, yeah. Or like you watch Jeopardy and it's like, what is like the distance of the sun? You're like, that has to be like 100 meters. And it's like 5 billion meters. You're like, I should get half points, I feel like. That's how my family time was spent. You mean Egyptian soap operas? No, soap operas. But there was also like, there was singing on stages. So it was more like Egyptian plays. It was Egyptian plays. There's like one very popular Egyptian actor, a male actor who played in a lot of plays. This guy. Adel Mohammed Imam. This guy, I can tell even though he's way older now. This guy, I don't remember any of the plays or what they're about. Maybe I'll go back and actually watch some of them. But we watched a lot of these, okay? Outside of this, the next thing I watched was cartoons and then anime. Okay? It took me many years to like start consuming American media. And being in New York doesn't help because there aren't, I don't know how to say this, but like there's not a lot of Americans in New York. Like I had a lot of like non-white suburban friends. I had a lot of friends that were immigrants, and I had a lot of friends that were like Black Americans, and I had a lot of friends that were like Jewish Americans. I didn't actually have a lot of white American friends. Like the closest I got to that, which they themselves would not call themselves white Americans, was like Greek Americans. So it's like a big city of immigrants, and I was an immigrant, and I became friends with the other immigrants. So, yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Can I be your friend? Yes, yes, please. So please, whenever I say I haven't seen a movie, please forgive me, okay? I'm playing catch up, okay? I didn't get to watch these movies when I was younger. It was only like the really famous movies that I got to watch. So like, I watched Back to the Future because that one was just so big. Anyways, going back for a second on this topic. I remember when I watched American media, I was so confused why, like, the people who did well in school were always like lowest in social status. And I remember watching anime because I don't know anything about American culture. I'm just here, man. I'm just doing my best, man. I'm just a 117 score trying to do my best out here, all right? And I remember watching anime, and I don't know if it's more so just Japanese culture or just in general, honestly, East Asian culture. But like the characters that are the popular kids in anime and even like Japanese shows are the kids who do well in everything. Like they're the best athletically. They're the best. Can you say athletically? Is that a word? Yeah, that is a word. Yes. They're the best, like, intellectually, like, they have the best scores, right? And then they're also conventionally attractive. Student council president, yeah. But in America, like, I remember growing up as an immigrant, trying to, like, pick up on the culture. And I was so confused why the kids who did well in school, they couldn't also be cool. Like, I remember watching Mean Girls and being like, oh, huh, okay, I guess. Huh, interesting. I don't care about the score. You can't autism. That's not sorry, right. I grew up in India, and the most academically successful kids were the highest status. Yeah, and this experience is also coming from like growing up in New York. When you meet a lot of other people from New York who come from immigrant backgrounds, I remember having a Korean friend, and her parents immigrated when she was like 2 or 3 or something, and obviously her parents were pretty strict about school and stuff and grades. And she also basically reiterated this point from her perspective as well and was like, yeah, it's very weird that like the kids who do well in school in America are not cool. The second you get like the best grades, you've lost the ability to be cool. Some people that do well in school tend to be more social, but geniuses might be incelly types or suffer socialization because of reasons. In America, it's a stereotype that the smartest person is a nutcase or awkward. Well, I think it's more that like culture is built around media and media is built around culture. And I remember even growing up, I remember like, I didn't watch that much of like The Simpsons, but I remember, and I think this is a common experience for a lot of people. I remember thinking I could only be smart or pretty and like fun to be around. Like I could pick one and I couldn't be both. And I was like, I guess I'm just like a Lisa Simpson and I will just get straight A's and I'll just, be the best at test taking and like school and whatever. I can't be both. But there's a lot of media in other countries that portrays like the coolest people have to get good grades. Like, you are not the coolest kid if you get bad grades. Great example, Bart is portrayed as like the cool kid versus Lisa, who's talented, but she's kind of an outsider. Yeah. Most of the cool kids in my school got good grades, but they weren't nerdy, if that makes sense. They were cool kids because they either partied or weren't poor. Yeah. Yeah. And then you grew up and found out you could be neither. I became a streamer. Family Guy's also a pretty decent example of this. Yes, yeah. It was only like way later in life where I was like, oh, you can do both. You don't have to pick. You can like looks max and like grades max. You can do both. With all of that in mind, going back a little bit, I will also say anecdotally, my parents, and this has been the case, I think, for immigrant parents, and I've talked about this before, but like, I think the type of mentality that you have to be an immigrant, is one that is very stubborn and one that is very like goal oriented. And people with immigrant parents, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. For people who maybe you grew up somewhere that there aren't a lot of immigrants, it takes a lot to move your whole life. Especially in a time before the internet, when you don't even really know what you're signing up for. I have met people in my personal life who don't want to move to another city. Like, they're being given the opportunity to make more money and live somewhere really nice and potentially afford a nice house, and they don't want to because they don't want to move cities. Because they would be uprooting their whole life, they'd be leaving all their friends and family, etc. Crank that up to like moving states, and I would imagine most people in here also would not want to move states. Which, like, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate moving, but I will run the calculus every time and be like, should I move? And if it makes sense to move, I'll do it, which I've done twice now, to a fucking totally different state. I went from New York all the way to Florida. Then I went back to New York to finish school, and then I was like, actually, okay, we're gonna do it again, but in California. I've moved like literally across the country twice in different directions. But I have met a lot of people in my life that are not willing to do that. And I'm not, to be very clear, I'm not like saying that it's a flaw or that it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just listing it as an attribute of your personality. You lived in Florida? I did. I lived in Florida for a year. It was not good. It was not good. I will say the weather there, it's so swampy and humid. My skin was living so well. Okay. I got no pimples. It was crazy, dude. I have never had such nice skin. That was the one thing that I was really sad about that I had to leave behind. I was like, no, my skin was so perfect. It was literally perfect all the time. No. And I like the heat and I like places that rain a lot. So it was like, it really was like the weather was the best part. I know that people don't like Florida weather, but like Florida weather was the best part of Florida for me. And then everything else sucked. But anyways, neither here nor there. Chicago to LA, and would never have done it if I wasn't doing it because my wife made it clear it was something she wanted to do when we were dating. Yeah. Most people that I have met do not want to move. And it's like, we're pretty much creatures of habit. Moving is very stressful. I was in Miami, but I was in like a more suburban area of Miami. But I was like, I don't know, 30 minutes away from like Miami Beach, I think. But moving on. To be someone who would uproot your whole life, not to a new city, not to a new state, but to a brand new country. Because you have to understand, moving from state to state, I mean, you guys already understand this. This is very basic, but moving from another state, at least you still are like an American citizen. So it's not like you have to file a bunch of new paperwork. You have to get like a new ID, which takes like 2 seconds at the DMV. You just book an appointment. They just print you a new ID and then there you go. You have it. And then you have to like, you know, find a place and then you just get residency by living there for a year and having like bills that show that you lived there for a year. That's it. That's literally it. You really don't have to do anything else. I guess you have to get new plates if you have a car already. That's it. It's really, really not that much. Moving all of your stuff sounds like a bitch. I'm not going to lie. That does sound like shit. But again, paperwork wise, it's really not annoying at all. You have like UPS mail forwarding. You can go on USPS.com and go to their mail forwarding, and all of the mail that would have gotten sent accidentally to your old address will now get sent to your new address. So you don't even have to worry about like, oh man, I hope I don't lose any packages. I hope I don't lose any mail. Like, you're good. It's not that hard to move to a new state or city. It's just hard mentally. Moving to a new country is such a bitch. From the people that I've spoken to who have either immigrated here to the US, or like content creators, for example, who have tried to get visas here so that they can do more collabs or whatever in the States. It is such a hassle. There are so many government appointments that you have to go to. There are so many stupid fucking useless interviews that you have to have. There's so much paperwork that you have to get through. It's so fucking annoying, and it takes years to finish. Even if you're just moving from fucking Canada. It is such a hassle. And that's not even talking about language barrier, if you're moving from somewhere that uses a different language predominantly, cultural barrier, no friends, no family anywhere near you potentially. Because like, if you're moving from Canada, at least you can drive over to Canada, depending on where you move. And like flights are pretty cheap and they're pretty short. If you're moving from like India, which H-1B visas, there are a lot that come from India. It's a whole different culture. It's a whole different country. Brand new language. You're like, it's a totally different. It's so difficult if the paperwork wasn't bad enough. So to be an immigrant, inherently, you have to be a very stubborn person, I think, and you have to be very goal oriented, and you have to really know what you want. Average Jonas literally paid $15K to expedite the process. It's insane. Yeah, it's really insane. And I think because of that, immigrant parents tend to be like very strict with their kids. I remember my parents would be like, I did not move to the land of opportunity and go through all of this hassle for you to go to school and get C's. Okay? Don't make me take out the whip. Don't make me take out the belt. All right? You get A's. You know how easy school is? And for me, like I was coming from like Arab countries where the schooling system isn't as good as it could be, but like I had friends who were coming from China, and the China schooling system is way more rigorous. I had a friend in middle school, and she described to me how much easier American school was. And she's like, if I don't get A's, like, I'm kind of embarrassed for myself. Because it's so much easier, okay? It's so much easier. School was easy as fuck. I read the material once, get easy A's and B's. Yeah. Does it work though? Some systems are a hassle for a reason. I'm not saying this is one of them, but to determine if so, we would need the data that shows the system is working for the benefit of the local citizen. I mean, I'm not saying that it should be changed necessarily. I'm just saying that it is complicated. Talking about whether or not like the immigration system should be changed. I think just in general, it's like government inefficiencies, like government buildings being super inefficient is bad. Like you shouldn't. This is going into like. The fact that anyone goes to the DMV and waits hours is crazy. It's crazy. So that's more on that stuff. But anyways, I was top of my class here. I'm a solid B- student in China. Yeah. I had a friend in high school who was a Danish exchange student, and she was in all AP classes because she said her AP classes were her normal classes in Denmark, LMAO. I remember being pissed that I was in AP classes. I was like, I went to like the counselor and I was like, I don't want to be in 5 AP classes. I don't want these AP classes. And she's like, yeah, well, too bad. I was like, wow, okay, well, I guess go fuck myself, because the school gets funding based on how many students perform well and how many students do well in like AP classes and stuff. So I wasn't allowed to do it. And I took like one non-AP class. It was like my I went to a mediocre high school. I think it was like the health class basically. And I was like, oh, is this what non-AP classes are like? Okay. I see why I'm in AP classes. Okay. Like, it's really bad. I wouldn't even have liked them anyways. So, what's AP? In America, it's just like advanced placement classes. It's a class that's at like supposed to be at a college level. And at the end of the semester, at the end of the year of taking AP US history, you have to take an exam. And it's graded from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. And if you get a 4 or a 5 on the exam, you get free college credits for it. So when you go apply for college, you don't have to take US history. You already have the credits for it. I unfortunately, for all my AP classes, I did not get a 4 in any of them. I got a couple 3s. I just didn't care enough. I'm going to be honest. I was really sad that I did so poorly I was sad that I got a 3 on my AP stats class. But also AP exams are like, they're way harder than actual college courses. Way harder. I've seen the syllabus of first and second year of US Ivy League college is almost the same of what we studied in the last years of high school. Yeah, I mean, it is the same as like AP classes. But anyways.
Wait a minute, you're telling me I've been subbed to this hobbit for more months than the orange is told that's wild. Any who love the hair love the voice. DNM bulls, DNM appreciation. Tell Wormy I cleared her tab and stopped leaving dead birds outside me casa.
Mario, thank you for the 32 months. Moving on. Yeah, I remember taking AP stats, and I really liked it. And I was one of the few kids in the AP stats class that the teacher really tried to help us get better for the exam. And I was part of like 5 or 6 kids, and we would have like after school like lessons to study for the AP exam. And basically we were like the few kids that had like a chance at getting a 4. And I studied really hard. We had all the flashcards and everything, and I still got a 3. I was so disappointed in myself. And then I took stats in college and I got an A, and I don't even remember anything about the class. I remember like fucking falling asleep in half the classes, and then I would take the exam and I'd be like, this is so fucking, I think it's this one, I think. And then I would get like 100. I'm like, okay, great. I guess some of it's stuck. Cool. Moving on. All of that was just to say, American kids, like, if your grandparents or your great grandparents immigrated here, like if your parents and your grandparents are American born, that's a better way of putting it. Your parents are not strict, dude. I don't think I met a single American that was like 2 or 3 generations back American that had strict parents. Like, if I did not get good grades, I had no privileges. None. I couldn't leave the house. I wasn't even allowed to have my computer. Like, I did not have any rights in my house if I didn't get, I was like subhuman if I didn't get good grades. And I had to get minimum. My mom was like, in math classes and in science classes, you have to get A's because I know you can do it. And I'll give you a pass on history and English. You can get 85s and up. And I did do that. Yes. And I did study as best as I could. And by study, I mean not study at all. I just cheated on all my tests. I did well in the classes that I naturally liked, and the ones I didn't, I just cheated in them, okay? All right. And then I won. And I told my mom, like, I would cheat on these exams, and she's like, okay. Did you get an A? I was like, yeah. And she's like, great. Cool. That's what matters. I already know you're not stupid, so, like, yeah, cool. Great, perfect. But that was like the expectation, right? Like, I did not, when I graduated college, there was no party, there was no celebration. It was like, took you long enough. Jeez, 6 years, fucking loser. It's like, damn. Okay, my bad. Jesus. I'm sorry. God. Oh my fuck, dude. And that was the experience of most people that I knew that were immigrants. They had to get good grades. Whereas Americans just like didn't. They didn't have to. It was just like I remember watching. I was watching one of Will Neff's streams, and he was talking about how he wanted to move to LA to pursue acting. And he was talking about how supportive his family was. And they were like, yeah, we believe in you, son. You got it. You can do it. And it was like 5 years or something like that, where they were like, hey, like, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like, you can come back home. It's all right. And I was like, damn, my family would never. They would never. They'd be like, yeah, you're going to become an actor. Yeah, good one. Fucking good one, dude. So, man, yeah, American parents are like very supportive in a crazy way. And I think that's what like Vivek is trying to highlight. But unfortunately, you're not allowed to upset your voter base and say American culture bad. You're not allowed to do that. Not as an immigrant. So let's keep going. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competition, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. I will say that, like, I think the biggest problem, I don't think it's any of these things. I think it's that American schooling it doesn't prioritize learning and making learning fun for kids. It just doesn't like most kids I met in school did not like learning because they weren't shown that learning could be fun. It's just like memorize this shit and that's it. Because I played a lot of video gaming. I played a lot of video games, okay? I was a total degen. I watched so many cartoons. I watched so much anime. I played so many video games. But I was allowed to do all those things just because I got good grades. Because I liked learning. And I think it's like the same thing for any kids. I think you should be able to have free time. You shouldn't spend all your free time as a kid fucking studying and working. That seems bad, right? But like, people just like kids don't want to do well in school because like they don't know why they should and they aren't shown how learning can be fun. Now close your eyes and most American parents look skeptically at those kind of parents. Most normal American kids view those kind of kids with scorn. If you grew up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. If we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That is the work that we have cut out for us, rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence. I'm confident we can do it. Fucking Catcher. Do I really need to start listing American inventors and what the world wouldn't have without us? Okay. So basically, tech bros prefer foreign-born workers because they're willing to work 90 hours per week rather than having a work-life balance. Got it. This guy's like actually spitting. It's not that it is that they're willing to work those hours, yeah. I spent a few years at a magnet school attached to a university in Miami, and they 100% did fun learning. We did like space 4 times board game campaigns and shit. Yeah, I mean, learning is fun. Like, not to be like a nerd or whatever, but like learning is fun. It's just Americans don't think learning is fun because they're never shown that it can be fun. There is something very satisfying about struggling with something intellectually or academically and then like overcoming that difficulty. It feels a lot like beating any level that's really like been kicking your ass.
Money, you three.
It feels like beating a boss. It's like you just fucking slam your head against it like over and over and over again. And then eventually you're like, oh, I fucking, yes, I got it. Okay, dodge, weave, parry. And it's the same thing. It's like, that was the high that I got like doing math problems. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then eventually it would click. And then I would get it. It was so cool. I got next thing for the 6 months. Really, thank you so much for the 3 months. Thanks. My friend said he learned math by thinking of them as fighting game combos. Yeah. So let's get back to the CNN video. Let's go.
Queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates.
I will say one of the few, sorry, two last things. The rare examples of like this not being true, I would say actually is Mean Girls and, or more aptly, Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde was like, it was so beneficial to women. And the problem is that there is no Legally Blonde for men. Legally Blonde is why girls outperform boys in school. Because it was like, I will be the biggest, most feminine, most girly pop, most pink loving, and I will fucking beat your ass in anything academically.
Corey from Boy Meets World, or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. But that argument is not going over well with Trump's MAGA base, certainly not online. Some of them saying, we did not ask them to engineer an immigration policy. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. You don't even know what MAGA immigration policy is. Now, Trump himself, who I should note restricted H-1B visas in his first term, has said on the campaign trail this time around that he did want to make it easier for educated foreigners to work in the U.S.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country.
My political sources tonight are former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Sir Michael Singleton, and also CNN economics and political commentator Catherine Rampell. And Catherine, you have covered this issue for a long time. Can you just lay out what we're looking at here in this divide between what Elon Musk says he thinks would be the best for the United States and why we are seeing something that we have not seen, frankly, almost at all lately, which is a lot of people in the MAGA universe outright disagreeing with him, arguing with him, and breaking with him online?
So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in this particular case, I think are exactly right. America's ability to attract talent from around the world is basically our economic superpower. The fact that in particular, we've been able to attract high-skilled immigrants quite reliably in this country over the past century or so is why we have this enduring leadership in science.
No, that's not why. It's because the competition in, for example, India or China is so fierce that those who can't make it there come here. Like, I think Americans really they don't understand how aggressive the education system is in Asian countries. Like, you have to do very, very, very well to get hired by a company that will pay you a decent amount. America is not like that. America, if you can manage to win a lottery, win the H-1 visa, or have enough money to just come here just without that, it's super worth it because the standards here are just not on the same level.
Tech and business. So just as an
We're the community college to China's Harvard. Yeah.
Example of all Fortune 500 companies, about half of them were founded by immigrants or the children of immigrants. And of the Nobel laureates, American Nobel laureates who have received prizes
I will say though, it's aggressive to a detriment. The suicide rate among students in those countries is concerningly high. Well, yeah, I'm saying that there's a healthy middle, right? We can like prioritize and like teach kids how to love learning and pay teachers more and have like teachers should be treated like surgeons basically, where there's a lot of work that gets into being a teacher, but it gets paid very well. So we have like the best teachers and they get paid enough that they are willing to put in all this extra time and effort into each student. And that would eliminate bad teachers and it would eliminate overworked teachers. But like we can have both. Like I think like the Finnish system, I had a pen pal from Finland, and her school system, the way she described it, it was amazing. Like it was really, really good. It was really good because it was the majority of the energy in schooling was dedicated to making kids want to learn the thing. A small example of this is like, I think I just happened to like math a little bit more. So I was just a little bit better at it earlier. Like it clicked in my brain sooner than the other subjects did. So I put a lot more effort into it and I felt like I was good at it and then I was rewarded. So I kept putting more and more effort into it. But I remember I had my first bad math teacher where I was using a different method to solve a particular math problem. And it wasn't like a slower method. It might have even been a faster method of solving that particular math problem. And I got no points for it. And I remember being really mad because the problem didn't say solve it with this method. It said solve it. And I had the right answer and I showed all my work. And it's not like I was cheating off of someone because all my grades were perfect. And I remember being so frustrated. And I was like, and that was like a moment for me that like clicked where I was like, oh, this is why none of my classmates like math. It's because they've probably only had these fucking teachers. And like, that's the shit that makes me mad, right? Like, I think that you as a student, you're not beneath the teacher just because, right? I think if you show all your work and the problem didn't say that you had to solve it in a certain way, you should get full credit for it. I think the teacher should say, you were supposed to solve it this way, but you're right. I didn't say you were supposed to. So I will give you full points. Next exam, we're doing the same thing. I'll specify, and if you don't do it, I won't give you full marks for it. Okay? Like, I wasn't treated like a person. I was just like, it was like, it feels like you're just trying to make me hate this subject and deduct points as much as you can. Or have you retake the test? That I also would have been down for that, right? So if the teacher was like, hey, well, I can't give you full marks unless you show me that you can do it the right way. If you want, you can show up after class or you can do it for homework, and then I'll give you full credit for it. We'll have like, next class will be dedicated to everyone retaking the portions of the exam that they did wrong and just show your work correctly for it. I would have been fine with that. Like, I felt like I would get robbed in some of these classes where I was like, this is bullshit. I shouldn't have gotten an 89. I should have gotten 100. I did it right. I did it right and I did it faster than everybody else. Like, what? This is bullshit. When I was in second grade, I was doing inverse operations to find the difference. And I got the answer right, but I was told that it was wrong. It broke my brain. Yeah. I did everything right and they indicted me. Yeah. I was a history nerd. History class was a breeze. I used to teach Taekwondo as a teenager to kids. And when you get a student who really gets it, it feels so good as a teacher. One of the best feelings. Yeah. And if you have a student that's so interested in the subject that they're finding new ways to solve the problems that work, you should be rewarding them. I had a math teacher who wouldn't even check homework outside of checking if math is on the paper. So I submitted the same homework assignment over and over again, and he never noticed. I did the same thing for one of my history classes. It was great. It was so good. I did, well, not the same exact thing, but something similar where I had, I think it was like 5th grade, back when you had homeroom teachers. And I was like, I got good grades across the board, and I was a good student generally. but I hated history homework. So I did like the first 2 history homeworks, and my handwriting was pretty shit when I was a kid. And then I was like, I don't want to do the rest of these homeworks. And the kid next to me was like a bad noodle student who like always disrupted class. And I looked over at his homework, and the teacher would go around the class and look at the homeworks and then like grade them during class. And while she was grading them, you had to, which was so girl boss of her, by the way, actually, because why would you take stuff home when you can just make kids do work in class and then grade the homework in class? So she made us all like, we would do these assignments while we were waiting for her to come grade our stuff. And the kid next to me, he wrote real answers, like good answers for this homework assignment. I guess they were wrong. And she was like, wrong, 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 you know, like fucking 50. I was like, damn. And like, I got to the point where I was so lazy and I was so over it that I would just scribble. I'm not joking. My homework assignments would look like this. Like halfway through the semester, and this basically happened every single time halfway through the semester. If I didn't care about a subject, the question would be like, you know, where was Christopher Columbus, something, 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 question mark. And then we had to write the answers down. And I knew she wouldn't read my shit. So I'd be like, I was going to, and Christopher Columbus. And then he went to, and she literally didn't bother. She was like, 100. I was like, damn. I was like, I literally didn't even read these questions. I just wrote random words in an order and made it look as messy as possible. And I got 100. Oh, dope, dude. Fucking sick. Like, I literally strung together random words, but I just wrote them as messy as possible. I made my handwriting extra messy. But I had done so well on all my earlier homeworks, she just didn't give a fuck anymore. Anyways, moving on.
Is for the hard sciences this century, about 40% of them are immigrants who came to this country. So again, this is our superpower. And I'm very glad that Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy recognize it. I very much hope that they are able to influence Donald Trump on this particular issue, but I'm doubtful about it because just as you mentioned, in his first term, Trump was actually quite hostile to legal immigrants, in particular, by the way, high-skilled legal immigrants. He made it really hard for them to come here, not just those who wanted work authorization, international students who cross-subsidized American students, by the way. You know, he basically harassed them and made it very difficult for them to keep their legal documents in order. That's because as much as Trump has said, oh, he only objects to illegal immigration, he's very much in favor of legal immigration. His policies don't bear that out. And that's partly because Stephen Miller is the one who was the architect of Donald Trump's immigration policies last time around and will probably do so again this time around, and is unlikely to adopt the sort of Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy view of things.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's getting a huge job in the West Wing. He's been around Trump for the 4 years he was out of office. And sure, Michael, as the Republican here, I wonder what your view on this is, because this is happening within the Republican Party. I mean, these are two top advisors to Trump, the MAGA world, who you know are kind of framing this as the true believers, who say, you know, we asked for stricter immigration policies. That didn't mean coming with a carve out for high skilled workers that they say are taking American jobs here.
Yeah, look, I think with all due respect to Mr. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they should focus on saving federal dollars for the taxpayers and not immigration policy. I understand some of the points that Catherine made, and I agree to an extent, but I think the U.S. should focus more on domestic skill development. Studies also show that H-1B1...
And it's so annoying because these fucking... Sorry. I hate politicians speak so bad. And like, I can't, once you like see the politicians speak on CNN or MSNBC or even Fox, you can't unsee it. And it's so frustrating to watch because these people will like cry all day, all night about how we need to enhance American exceptionalism. But then the second there are any bills that are promoting more funding in schools, they're like, Department of Government Efficiency. I'm sorry, the schools want money so they can take kids to museums. Waste of money. It's like, oh my God. How do you think kids get excited about things? They have to go and experience them. Kids don't see text on a piece of paper and immediately get excited. This is so frustrating.